What's up, YouTube? Today I'm going to be doing a review on my own Nissan 350Z. I've had it for about 4 weeks now. Get back a little further. This one is a 2003 touring model. So it has, you know, stuff like traction control, leather seats, you know, upgraded Bose stereo. No navigation, which doesn't really care because, you know, it would be outdated anyways. This one has, the reason I got mainly this particular one here is the color. So I know that sounds kind of stupid, but I really wanted this one because, one, there's not many of them in this color that I've even seen. Because they call this Brickyard. It's more of like a purplish color, you know. It can appear darker or lighter in the way, you know, certain parts of the car. And again, of course, in person it looks a lot different. Like from what I see here compared to what I'm actually looking at, it looks a lot darker. This one has some work done to it. It has custom exhaust. Try to get further down there. Custom exhaust. Has Eibach Sportline springs that are back there. You probably can't see it though. Has Varston ES2 18-inch wheels throughout the car. Let me think. It has headers on it as well. So pretty much, you know, plastic dipped emblems. Yeah. I was gonna do the door handle, but I thought that would look kind of tacky, but it's just the way I wanted it. I was thinking about doing an inlet. Just use my foot, like right there, for the air filter, but I would have to get a different one because the one that's on here now is an AEM short ram intake, so it doesn't quite reach that hole. Let me pop the hood here. So this is the engine bay. Nothing special, again, just the AEM short ram. Spectre pod filter. I was gonna get a K&N that'll actually reach this hole. So when I do cut that out, it'll actually be functional, feeding cold air into the filter. Because, you know, if I do it now, you know, it's really not gonna do nothing because the end to that pod is not even open. So again, nothing special here. Just a standard bay, just with the filters, the only thing aftermarket under here. So yeah, this is pretty much it. You know, it's lowered, you know, pretty much as low as I would want to go with this car. So it's not like slammed, of course, like to the ground. Again, these are just the normal springs. Or not the stock springs, but the standard Eibach springs. So with these tires, they actually do go in to the well. So there's absolutely zero gap there. In the back there is a slight gap. So let's go and move to the interior because it's fucking cold. It's the last day of the year. And I live in Arizona and it doesn't ever rain here. And the last day of the year, it just happens to rain. Let me move the key at the ignition. Show you the interior. So this is the interior on the Touring. Leather seats. Like, it's an automatic, you know, it fucking sucks, but you know, it's between this and the base model 6-speed. That was white, so I just bit the bullet and got this. Still has the dealer mat sound. That's what that squeaking is. Bose radio. The leather is actually in really good condition in my car. which I like. Let me go ahead and turn on the wipers. Turn that off. So this is the cockpit, I guess, if you want to say. Has cruise control, heated seats, semi-automatic transmission. I really wish it was 6-speed, but again, I just bit the bullet on this one and got an automatic due to the fact that, the color that it is. I just didn't want a plain Jane car, and I didn't want to have to pay money to have it resprayed, especially if it's an OEM, rare color like the Brickyard purple that this one is. So this one has 98,000 miles. I can see about that. So this pod here, I've never seen a lot of people really go into depth in what this pod does. It shows different things. Right now, of course, it's on the weather. You can see it's 43 degrees right now. You can cycle through different menus. So, weather, which is what is on. Then you have the DTE. Stands for distance to empty. So, and then it's changed by this button here. So this changes what that pod displays. So right now it's distance to empty. This is miles per gallon on what the car currently gets. 18 is not too bad. I believe these cars are supposed to get 20 out of the box. I know this one will probably need, a tune-up on it. So, I'm wanting to push at least 19. But, it's hard as hell to drive this car, not always running and gunning it all the time. But I try to drive conservatively as possible. So the next one is a timer. I know there's a lap timer and then there's a timer. This button here will reset that timer. Or, have you started. I don't think you can stop this one. This one doesn't stop, I believe. So I'll cycle to the one that does. So this is your stopwatch, pretty much. So this button here, whenever there's an arrow displayed right there, means that it'll, this button controls it. So as you see here, that just reset it. Pressing it will start the timer. Stop it, reset it. See? This one, of course, is plain and simple, miles per hour. Honestly, I love having a digital speedometer there, because the way this car is set up, it's really hard to pay attention to the miles per hour gauge here when the main focus is the tachometer. Like, that helps out so much. I know in the 370Z it does not have a digital speedometer up there. All it has is, I believe it's oil temperature, a voltmeter, and then a clock. All the things that are showed up here in this pod are moved to this pod, where it shows the fuel gauge in a LED bar, and then it has the little display like this over here where you can cycle through, but it does not have a speedometer, an electronic speedometer, which I find weird. So, I'm glad the 350 has it, because it really is amazing just driving. And, I don't really pay attention to this that much at all. So having it there is extremely helpful. Again, this is not a nav model. It is a, this basic standard cubby hole. So this was put here by the prior owner. It's just a Sirius XM radio. I honestly plan on taking this out and actually putting a nav unit, or just taking it out just so I actually have, the cubby hole back to put my phone and stuff. Because I plan on putting a aftermarket unit here with a nav in it. So as far as features, you know, it's just a radio. This stock radio comes with something called autopilot. Whenever you're driving, say you're driving and you know, since this car gets loud, it'll automatically compensate for volume by raising the volume of the radio, which I find pretty cool. You know, it's a cool feature. This car is pretty old for its age. You know, it's a 2003. So it was actually manufactured in 2002. Visibility is definitely not at all the greatest at all. Let me try and, like, all I have is that little window there. So here is where the cubby hole is. There's no glove box here at all. There's a cup holder, which is, you know, by sports car terms, fucking amazing, having a cup holder in a car. But this is the glove box. There's a cubby hole here that opens up. There's another one behind the seat, and then behind my seat, the driver's seat, there is a subwoofer. So visibility in this car by any means is not great, like at all. So, you know, sitting in my seat, you know, that's literally all you can see is that out of the window. So out of that whole window, you only get a visibility of about that much. So if you add a wing or something on here, you know, that's going to be ridiculous, because you're not going to be able to see. This one has the HomeLink mirror, so this is an auto dimming mirror that'll auto dim. You know, if there's cars or whatever behind you, you don't have the thing back here where you have to manually adjust it. It has a vanity mirror. Same thing on this side, vanity mirror. The light needs to be replaced though. Sunglass holder. Again, you know, there's other reviews on this car. You know, they speak of cubby space as everywhere, because cubby space is everywhere. You know, there's cubby here. There's a net behind this seat. You know, behind the seat there's like something to put stuff in, like paperwork. This seat here that I'm sitting in is electric, going forward, backwards, and the back part is electric, as well as a knob that you can turn to adjust the seat, whether it's, you know, raised or lowered. I like being sitting in the car, so I have mine lower. This one is electric, moving here. Moving forward and backward, it's electric. The back support of the chair is manual. I honestly plan on getting aftermarket seats to put in here. You know, I'm not going to be drifting or doing anything stupid in the car, but I'd rather have a more comfortable seat. And to preserve the leather of these seats, I'd rather have them out, so when I do resell the car, it'll have, you know, better value by maintaining, you know, the leather of these seats that are already in nice condition. So I'm just going to get aftermarket seats, get a harness bar, stuff like that, make it more comfortable and safe, just for everyday use. Not going to, you know, like crazy like Sparco seats or something like that, but just something comfortable. I'll go ahead and start the car up. So it's going to be kind of hard to hear. I know the belts are wet right now from outside, but I need to clear up my windows real quick. Because it is pretty cold today for some weird reason. That it's not warm enough right now. But here, let me roll down the window, try to get an exhaust clip here. So that's from aftermarket exhaust on here. There's houses right there, so I'm pretty sure they're pretty fucking pissed off at that. But I don't give a damn. I'll go on a short drive here. Put my seatbelt on. So since this not being a stock car, of course, the ride quality is not going to be nothing that it would be if it was, of course, stock. Let me see. You know, stock I'm pretty sure rides better, but me being me, I don't really mind if it's bumpy or if it's harsh. I'm pretty sure if someone was to review this car, being an actual critic, they would think that the ride quality would be considered uncomfortable. But again, I don't really mind that much that it's you know, that bumpy. The shocks I believe on here, I believe are stock. I'm not 100% sure on that. I would think that they are. So again, right now it's raining. I do have a light bulb out on here, and it sucks because they're HIDs. This unit does come stock from the factory with HID bulbs instead of having the halogen bulbs. So the right fender well went out, or doesn't have the liner, so water got into the ballast and went bad, so I need to get a new ballast. I really don't know how well you're going to be able to hear me. I just turned the air off, but it's a loud car. It's mainly because of the exhaust. On why it's so loud. See the digital speedometer, it's amazing having that there. Ride is smooth. Bumpy, yes, it is bumpy. But I don't really mind that at all. You know, it's a nice car. It drives well. You know, it being 2 seats and all, I've never ran into problems of actually needing having a second person or a third person in the car. So that's, you know, just, it's not a problem for me. You know, again, it rides smooth. It rides nice. I wouldn't trade it for anything right now. I know my next car is probably going to be like a Subaru or something like that, or an Evo. But as of right now, it's a good car. So just to wrap it up, you know, I like my car. It's not for everybody having such a small vehicle, but I like it. So if you have any questions or anything, just put them in the comments below. I'll try and answer it. Yeah, the slip light goes off. I'll explain that later